services over because some people will come from that.
Yes, okay.
So rather than starting like 2 or 3 times, it's easier to just wait and so. We usually get a couple of people from that service too.
That's good.
And this is some of the I miss her so much this week. She sent me a flower. Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's the longest my hair ever got. How long was it, Hannah? Shoulders. Oh, really? Yeah. I'm trying to grow it out. Really? I'm hoping, but yeah. Oh, you have a lot of hair. With hair, and I have very thick hair and a lot of it. When I cut my hair short the first time, she's like, "We should weigh this. This is so much hair." Well, I think that when you have a lot, that's why you can wear your hair as short as you do. Because like if I did, I would look bald. Because my hair's not as thick as your. Yeah, I've had it short for a decade now. For medical reasons. So I'm on new meds and we're hoping to grow it. I'll see. But even this is longer than it's been in like 8 years. I'll take it. But this is the longest mine's been in about 20 years. Maybe 30. What's wild is most people in my life have never seen me with long hair. So like it's middle school. So a lot of people are like, can't even imagine it that way. Like it's in a thought in my brain. Oh, you know what? The mic isn't set up. Kim just asked us, the sound was a little challenging and
we can hear you though.
Oh,
we can hear you.
Well, she can hear, but maybe the mic over here. But the mic, this mic should be set up.
Oh yeah, it would be better actually. Now that you say that, now that I hear you closer.
If you put that there and then shove the cord under the table, I can plug it in here. Stage hand.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then that needs to have a little blue light. So you need to push a button.
That's gonna turn blue.
Is that better, Kim? Okay, she's nodding. So that's good. Hi, Beth. What? Are you coming in? Oh, yeah, okay. We're not gonna start until they're, because we usually get some people from the 8:30 and we don't want to have Bob have to start over and over again.
Okay, I've got 50 slides.
Oh, my. Well, you're not, you have how many?
50 slides.
So you'll be lucky to get through 10. Because I'm sure this will also, people will want to talk a little bit about this topic.
Oh, yes. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. The 9 o'clock has different music. Yeah. I know, I love that. I know, I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, we're gonna sing that, and then when we got, I looked through the music, I'm like, oh, it's not there. Oh. You're not even late. I go to work, I have one train track that I've crossed 2 times. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, yes, that's been really making me to show up between the 2 tracks. When we went to church, we could sometimes wait for the same freight train twice to get out. Only if we were running late anyway. It's nice that in here we have the underpass. They don't have one out there. So have to sit there. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yellow country pizza patient.
Well, like, it's not a problem when I get to work, but like, when I'm coming home from work, all my patients. I'm like, all my patients is gone, no one talked to me.
Little Kim,
Oh, we need to-
Are you all set?
I think I'm all
Is that
set.
okay?
Good. I'm sorry, what am I doing? Oh,
Click the okay.
yeah. Morning. Good morning. We went a little bit long.
I know, and so we decided to,
some more
we
people
decided to
coming.
wait, so that,
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was supposed to bring it. We thought we would wait until,
Until Jesus comes again?
well, you closed the
I mean,
store, you closed the store, but we want
be
30 people to feel like they can come
I
in.
think I'll reopen. it.
Thank you.
Wants to close this one, Joyce. We don't.
That's a good idea because it gets noisy when they go by.
Yeah.
Background noise, it's not my friend.
No,
We haven't been booking it, we've just been.
Yeah. although sometimes it doesn't stay open unless you hook it a little bit. so I don't know.
Stay closed.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I mean, I have a mic, and I remembered to bring it maybe one place in the last 2
Oh,
months.
yeah.
Like, why do I have a mic at this point?
Oh.
Something went up there, like that all around.
So since people are coming out of the 8:30, I'll just start by saying it's Sunday, February 2nd. This is St. Mark's Adult Formation. And our speaker today is Bob Lundin, who's going to be talking about visible and invisible success. And you'll find out what that means.
I know what that means, I know. It's a, hi Joe. Visible and visible success, should I get going?
If you
Wait
don't
just a
mind
minute.
pausing,
I'll just
I
wait
can
just a
see
minute.
a couple people
Here
who
are a
are coming
couple.
in.
Oh, hi, Laura.
So, I
Yeah,
think leave it
leave
open
it
for a minute, so people from the 8:30 feel that they can come, yeah.
There's no parking. I'm over by St.
Oh.
Freight train.
Oh,
Yeah, we
that's
heard the
what's-
freight trains were bad, yeah.
Park on the street would be my least favorite.
What? I get one nervous. The Apex Garage? Well, I don't know where to look.
Maybe I'll just bring it back. Yeah, that's probably it.
Okay,
Here we go. Visible and invisible success. What I'll be talking about is, we have an idea of what success is in our culture, and I'll go through that. What is success? We have an idea of what we consider success. And we consider success to be visible parts of a person's life and a person's, and their success is visible success is easily recognized. It stands out as a clear marker of achievement, drawing admiration and respect. These successes are widely acknowledged and often celebrated. They're featured prominently in biographies and resumes, becoming benchmarks of a person's worth or capability. Visible successes bring pride and a sense of self-importance. They act as a stepping stone for personal advancement and social recognition. These are the successes that we consider ones that people see clearly and people are like to talk about. And a visible success is like a prestigious job, and there's a guy there obviously looking very astute and proud of the job that he has. And people measure success in a person by their job and the job that they have and the role that they have in the employment world. Another thing that people measure success by is education. They measure success by your level of education and by where you were educated. That's another way to have visible success. Another visible success is your income. People don't always talk about their income, but it can be fairly clear the amount of money that you make and the income that you have. That's a very visible marker of your success. The way you live, your residence, the area of town that you live in, the house that you live in. These are all markers of success that are visible success in our culture. Awards and prizes. Of course, this right here is a Grammy Award, Emmy Award. That's another being awarded and having, a list of awards and honors and etc. That's another measure of visible success. As is notoriety and publicity, if you're in the newspaper or you have a certain notoriety and reputation that you developed, that might be of interest to the media in some way. That's another marker of visible success. Athletic expertise, if you're very good at athletics, a good golf players like this professional is another measure of visible success. Artistic talent and having a great ability to play music or art or writing or whatever. That's another visible success, as is fame, having a certain level of fame. That, of course, is a measure of visible success also. And also your social circle, the people that you rub shoulders with, the people that are considered your friends and your colleagues, another measure of visible success. So what does a person gain from visible success? They gain a certain amount of prestige, power, promotions and advancement, popularity, social status, and wealth. So I guess the idea here is talking about visible success. These are what people see and commonly measure as what is your success, your visible success. There are shortcomings, of course, to visible success, which I list right here. Visible success is not always advantageous to an individual. It might mask inner struggles, such as a competitive to a fault or feelings of inferiority, which is kind of it. If you have a kind of a basic feeling of inferiority, it might get you to try and to obtain certain amounts of visible success. Moral shortcomings and hollow goals and blind ambitions. These are always shortcomings of visible success. And also, there might be an intoxication with power, money, and prestige that can lead to misconduct. Ultimately, visible success may be unfulfilling and fleeting. Here's some notable individuals who have had great visible success and who have sadly failed. And so this is not Howard Hughes. Going back a ways in history, Howard Hughes is one of the wealthiest people in the world, known for his innovations in aviation and film. Yet, despite his visible success, he became increasingly paranoid and reclusive, suffering from severe mental health issues. His immense wealth and achievement couldn't provide him with inner peace or happiness. Somebody that's more contemporary, who I think many people have heard of, is Bernie Madoff, financier and a former chairman of the NASDAQ. Had a great deal of status in the financial world. Bernie Madoff gained enormous visible success in finance and was seen as a respected figure until it was revealed that he had orchestrated one of the largest Ponzi schemes in history. His pursuit of wealth and status led to massive legal problems, troubles, destroyed lives, and ended in personal ruin, including prison and a tragic loss of family relationships. So I think people remember that Bernie Madoff was in the news quite a bit, and does everybody know what a Ponzi scheme is? It's kind of a financial scheme where you get investors and you pay the investors the return on their investment from the money that you gain from other investors. You kind of pay off the interest that a person makes with income that is coming in rather than investments. Lance Armstrong, another one man who pursued a great deal of visible success and was ultimately found to have some real moral shortcomings. Lance Armstrong won multiple Tour de France titles and was celebrated worldwide as the cancer survivor and athlete. However, the discovery of his involvement in a doping scandal revealed a dark side to his drive for success. His reputation was shattered, his titles were stripped, and he was faced significant legal and financial consequences. The pressure to maintain visible success pushed him to make unethical choices. And another person, Kurt Cobain, very tragic story. Another man that pursued visible success and had a great deal of visible success. Kurt Cobain rose to international fame as a rock musician and became the voice of a generation. However, despite his success, he struggled with depression, addiction, and a sense of isolation that fame only deepened. He often spoke of the emphasis and pressure fame, the emptiness and pressure fame brought him, which he found profoundly unsettling. Those are the idea of it. Does anybody understand what I'm talking about now with visible success? Okay, these are the things that we look at. Now, what I try to develop here is an idea that there is also invisible success in a person's life, many people's life. Everyone has a certain amount of invisible success, but it is invisible success in that it is not readily seen and not readily measured, not readily talked about. So what is invisible success? Not all people have the ability or opportunity to pursue visible success. You know, maybe their background or their education or their difficulties in life, they don't actually have a chance to pursue things like wealth and status and fame and large houses or whatever, rather than achieving wealth. So yet they are successful, and success for them is invisible. So rather than achieving wealth, prestige, or notoriety, invisible success for these brave people comes in the form of coping and thriving despite multiple setbacks and disadvantages, such as living with a severe illness or a disability, or facing homophobia, sexism, or racism. Living through a traumatic upbringing or a toxic relationship, or adapting to a new language or culture, or incarceration. These are, what is visible success? Let's say we all start at a starting line, and people with visible success are all dash off to the race. And people with invisible success, they start like 20 yards behind because they have all these invisible issues that they have to deal with, these invisible, invisible successes. So invisible successes are often hidden, secretive, and not widely acknowledged. So what does a person gain from invisible success? Well, I think they gain a certain amount of courage because people dealing with these deficits in life have a great deal of courage that they've developed and they have to use to get through their daily routines and get through their lives. They develop a certain amount of humility. Visible success or invisible successes are difficult. They develop a certain perseverance and resilience. They have inspiration and faith, empathy, and they also are admired by the culture and admired by the society, which is a good positive sense of invisible success. So here are some barriers a person striving for invisible success must face. There's a lack of public recognition. Without visible markers of success, it can be hard to feel acknowledged or appreciated. Society tends to recognize titles, wealth, or fame, and so those with invisible successes may struggle with self-worth due to a lack of public appreciation or praise. First, somebody with visible success might have difficulty explaining their achievements. Invisible successes such as resilience, personal growth, or overcoming hardship aren't easily quantifiable or easily communicated. This can make it challenging for someone to explain the significance of their achievements to others, especially in professional or social settings. I'll tell you a little bit of story about that I felt that I had with a little bit of invisible success. As you all probably know, I've dealt with a serious mental illness all my life. And it hit me when I was in graduate school. And it was a great challenge in my life, and it was a great difficulty in my life, and it set me up for having to cope with basic ideas of health, of mental health, rather than having a prestigious job or working in a positive direction, making money, etc. So that my mental illness, it was a real challenge, and it kind of set me back. Well, anyway, I had a certain amount, I had quite a remarkable recovery. This was in about 1992 or so. And I was able to achieve a number of what I felt to be successes in life. And one of the things that I do is the Awakenings Review, which is the literary magazine for people with mental illnesses. Well, I thought to myself, I had put out another issue of the Awakenings Review, and I thought to myself, well, this is a real achievement. I felt very proud of it and very, very much happy about being able to do it. So I brought it to the attention of my alumni magazine of my college. I went to Kenyon College, and they have a very nice alumni magazine that comes out. And I brought it to the attention of the editor of the alumni magazine. I thought, I had published this journal, and I had come from having a real setback in life from the beginning, from my early age. And I thought that this would be something they'd be interested in, and they weren't. The editor of the alumni magazine said, well, I'll put it in the maybe file. And I was a little bit disturbed about that because I don't think they recognized, I don't think the alumni magazine really recognized the achievements that I had done in life. And that got me thinking about this idea that I had had a lot of invisible success. I had had successes that weren't really, widely seen, and I was a little bit disturbed about that, but it made me think that, you know, the alumni magazine is looking for people with big visible success. Those are the people that they write about and et cetera, rather than people who have had invisible successes. And so I realized that, you know, it's really a problem to communicate that you might have had invisible success in life. People don't understand that. So you have difficulty in explaining their achievements. Invisible successes such as resilience, personal growth, or overcoming hardship, they aren't easily quantifiable or easily communicated. This can make it challenging for someone to explain the significance of their achievement to others, especially in professional and social settings. There might be a feeling of isolation from invisible success, since society often overlooks invisible achievements. Individuals may feel isolated or misunderstood. Friends, families, or colleagues might not grasp the extent of their efforts or the personal obstacles they've overcome, which can lead to feelings of alienation. You know, this idea of visible success, invisible success rather, you know, people feel alienated by it, or feel alienated, where in fact what they're doing is really coping with real deficits in their life. And this idea of coping with your problems, especially when the problems are really significant, you know, problems like a serious illness or mental illness or physical illness. I'll talk in a few minutes about one of the people that I admire who has had a great physical illness, and she's coping with that. People might judge you and misunderstand you. Others may judge them as unsuccessful or unambitious, not recognizing the inner achievements they've worked so hard for. People who have overcome invisible challenges may be dismissed as lazy, weak, or lacking drive, which can be demoralizing. Financial and social disadvantages, because invisible successes don't always lead to financial gains. Individuals may struggle economically despite their personal achievements. They may also miss out on social opportunities or career advancements that typically come with visible successes. So here are 5 notable people who have earned exceptional invisible successes. And the first one is a woman named Temple Grady. She's a professor of animal science, a prominent advocate for autism awareness, and the inspiration for an Emmy award-winning documentary. Graydon overcame significant barriers with her autism to achieve professional success and transformed livestock handling practices. Her achievements demonstrate resilience and innovation despite facing challenges that were often misunderstood or unseen.
She is going to be speaking in the Chicago area this spring. I know because I have an autistic hearing son. And I can't remember where, but if you Google her, it's a major presentation she's given. It's not just for the school. Okay. So, but it's this spring, and I want to say it's in April.
Okay.
But just so people know, if you're interested, because she is profoundly autistic, but yet she has managed to be able to speak in ways that people can understand her. And you wouldn't know she was autistic unless you knew that.
Unless you knew that, right?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure everybody in the audience can know that.
Yeah, Big John.
Jan and I have met with her, you know, she is absolutely fantastic. She's, we have heard her speak.
Who you talking about, Temple or?
Yeah, yeah. she's written a book or two and works to read.
Yeah, and also she had this, award-winning documentary about her, which was remarkable. You know,
She's going to be in Chicago April 11th. The venue is to be determined,
oh,
and the topic is the Grandin people. So, she'll be talking about, I guess, her work.
that's very good. Somebody, I know, I said, I should, no, we should, or I should, make note of that, go to that, neither, autism is a very disabling condition. And, for people, when I worked at the DuPage County Health Department, every once in a while, we'd get people who were autistic in our classes. And, they're very smart, they're always very smart. But they had a lot of difficulty with relationships, yeah.
Well, I teach in a primarily autism classroom. So all my kids have autism and I'm in a self-contained population. So the kids who need the most help. And I'll tell you, like, a lot of people don't see what I see in them. Like, one of my kids can do mental math better than I can. Like,
Okay,
he may have deficits in other areas, but he's able to do math like no one I've ever met before. So like, each person's autism has such a unique strength. They get overlooked because they don't have success in traditional areas.
Right.
Like, they can't communicate like other people can. They think, oh, aren't gonna be successful. They are, just in their own way, which I always find really inspiring myself.
So tell me a little bit about working with the autistic people, autistic students.
So I
Are
work
they
with,
students that you work with, or?
yeah, I
Yeah.
have a first and second grade special ed teacher. So I work with like 7, 8-year-olds, and but each one's very different. I will tell you that. Some are more socially what you would think of, like as socially successful, having friends, being able to have conversations. Some are nonverbal and use technology to communicate, but they still have their own personalities and their own strengths, and they're great artists. And so I think it's really interesting when you get to know. I only have 6 students, so I'm able to get to know each one of them and work to their strengths. And what I've noticed is, like, if you are able to work to their strengths and meet them where they are, they will surprise you. And that's why I've always accepted them, because like, she had struggles in certain areas, but she found ways to still have her passion and her success.
Mhm.
The thing about an autistic child and then adult is each autistic child is unique. There's no way you can say, well, this works, so try this. They're all very unique, and that's what part of the education process is. I think you're finding out what works best for them.
Yeah, my wife, Jan, worked in
I
special
can't
ed.
hear, I can't hear you.
My wife, Jan, works, has spent her entire life in special education for adult technology, and started teaching. I think her teaching certificate is still active, and I think she has probably one of the oldest special ed teaching certificates in DuPage County, going back well over 50 years, and long before anybody knew what an autistic child even was. And when she started out, it was just special needs and a slow learner or what have you. But it's amazing what accomplishments are in among those profiles. They generally realize that success comes from hard work, and they're willing to do it, and a lot of other students. So wave away. The general students, those special ed kids were really good. So what would be a success for a person with autism who?
And on the child, I mean, one would be able to teach the child to sit still in a classroom. That could take a whole year. And that would be a sign of success. At the other end of the spectrum, they're reading. I mean, they're reading, they're smart, they're smarter than their teachers. So it's really difficult.
Well, because it is a spectrum.
It is a spectrum.
And so
Yeah.
there's not one.
I think what I found in my own experience with my son is that, it's too hard for parents to understand when a child, especially a child does, and you don't know how to train it. But the frustrating part is when you come into the school and, asking them, because you hear complaints about the teachers, how the child performs, but they are confused because, they say sometimes they, homework that they do makes magnetic, the writing, special writing. Now, as a parents, we have the idea what it is about, Special for kids. It's too hard to, find the support and communication even with the schools. So you have to push it all the time. But what I found by myself is two things, learning, as parents, what you wrote, or how can you support each other, how to, asking a person to the school to move and try something else for the children, besides physical education, know more about the child, what do they need, how can you support them. It is amazing when you can get kids on a huge note, maybe what can happen. We can maybe have a special school, special education, and the result is amazing. But again, the training to parents is so hard because you don't know how to support.
Yeah.
Like nobody can tell you exactly. Even when you go to the doctors and they were like, what the doctors told me, they told me we did some diagnostic, we realized being I mean, they said they can be a larger something like that. But it's not. We realized this is more wide. Which is why we eliminate the high border. Let's say in the worst of the topics they know they need to continue learning, and to say each children is so different, and they need to know about the children.
And listening to Hannah talk about teaching, I think how fortunate those children are to have you as a teacher. Because one, it is a small classroom, so you can get to know them, and you obviously really care about each of them and love them and see what's special about them. And I'm thinking what a gift that is to those children, that in their formative years, they have somebody who like in their corner.
Yeah, and we had a recent experience in my classroom that just changed my whole perspective. Because I went to an IPN and the parents were insistent, they wanted their kid to be normal. He needs to be normal. And so they were like, he needs to be a normal kid, normal. And so they pulled all Spencer. They had to change schools, go to a whole new building with no support. The gen ed classroom. He spent the first day there crying the entire day. He was confused and he didn't have help. And he was one of my kids with high needs. And the next day, the parents were like, he needs to come back. One day. It didn't take long. But when he was back, he was just so happy because he's able to be himself, and he's able to thrive, and he's able to get his needs met. And in our room, there's so much that we try to build up in the kids confidence-wise that when they're in the gen ed room, sometimes they can see that they're not the same, and we're able to encourage them to be like, you don't have to do that. And so I think it reminded me that parents are doing their best and that they are struggling too, and that all we can do is guide them and help them. And with the kids also, just helping remind them, when he came back, he's really down on himself because I wasn't like those kids. And so I had to remind him, you're not, I wasn't like normal kids, and I was either. We all have our things. And so that was really impactful on me to just realize what a difference it is for those kids. When they have that support versus when they don't.
Well, it's really a shame is that hugs used to really be important, and you almost can't do that anymore.
We give hugs in my room, and I was told we're too affectionate to kids, or I was told you're spending too much time with them. Like we spend their breaks with them, bonding and building a rapport with them. And she was like, "You're spending too much time with them. They need to be independent. You can't be with them." And I'm like, "No, that's how we bond." And like they have so much more respect for us as teachers. It's just a very different world. Like where I teach, they're like, can't be giving hugs. You can't be helping them too much. You can't be. They need to be independent. I don't know about that. It's just very different perspectives on what that team is.
Yeah, Beth.
We have, an autistic boy in our family too, my, cousin's grandson, and we see these people a lot. And having a family member as autistic has helped me develop a whole new awareness. It has helped me grow as well. That's what I find so beautiful about it. We love him all dearly. He's a very unique child, and he's blessed us by his presence. Blessed us, and his family knew right away that something was going on. They didn't talk, and yet he was very responsive. You know, when he was very young. So that was a blessing to his mom as a teacher. So she had a lot more in tune with children's development than somebody who wasn't a teacher.
And that's kind of the thing.
The main thing is how it changes the people.
But that's such an invisible success that like not everyone looks at. It's like they impact you forever. And those kids, every success is a win. We celebrate everything. I had a kid who, instead of hitting me, gave me the middle finger, and I was like, that is a win. And so that was successful. If you went to a gen ed room, they'd be like, "What are you doing? That's not a success." I'm like, it's a big win. It's like in the conventional sense, that's not success. But for that kid, that is huge, and we get to celebrate that, and that's why I like it so much. It's like in gen ed, I could never do it. I'm like, no. But getting to celebrate those wins that traditional wins is really neat.
I think it comes down to you also respect the kid, you know, for how hard they're trying and for the amount of heart that they put into their lives and, you know, being able to sit down.
Yeah, I have one kid who greets every adult in the building by name every day. I don't even know everyone's name. I work there. And he's just like, "Hi, so-and-so, hi, so-and-so, hi, so-and-so." And I'm like, "Gotta teach me your tricks, man. I don't even know how you know this person. You've never talked to them before. And you know their name, but okay." And so to be able to see them thrive in areas that maybe I'm trying to work on is really inspiring.
Just real quick, my younger daughter, Hannah, most people know that she's autistic. We were a little bit nervous about bringing her back to church after the pandemic because at the time she's still very young, but 11 now, but we didn't know how she would sit still, and we were especially worried because not all the younger children were vaccinated, and we didn't want her going to the nursery for that reason. But eventually we did start taking her back to church. She loves church so much. Like during the pandemic when she wasn't going, she was listening to services at night to go to sleep. We would play them on YouTube, and it was just such an important part of her routine. And now she comes back, she's usually just so happy to be at church that even though she doesn't exactly sit still, she just really loves being here. And I just wanted to share that because I would consider that
an invisible success for everyone in this room and everyone who makes the church community, for one thing, because she just loves it so much here, and that's a testament to this church as well as some other things. And also, she used to bite my hand out of excitement. It wasn't necessarily malice. Sometimes it would be frustration, but often it would be excitement. So now that she gives me the tightest hugs in the world, even when I'm not quite ready for the big success over biting me.
It really reminds me, I'm also a light skilled cook for adults who can't live independently. And one of my residents, we would call him Reverend Rose, because he would watch sermons over and over, and he would give you sermons, just like preaching to you all the time, and be like singing his hymns, like he was just so deeply faithful all the time, and it's like so inspiring for me as someone who was going through a rough patch in my faith at the time. But like to just see someone so happy and like in love with God and faith and with wanting to be there for people, and I just always like think of him when I'm trying to think, because I'm like, that is such a cool way for him to share himself with the world and see God in a way that not a lot of people can.
Okay, and here's another woman who I admire. She has schizophrenia, and Ellen Sachs is a legal scholar, author, and advocate who holds the Orrin B. Evans Distinguished Professorship at USC Gould School of Law. Despite living with schizophrenia, she has achieved remarkable success contributing to mental health awareness through her memoir, The Center Cannot Hold, My Journey Through Madness. And I know schizophrenia is very debilitating, and so she succeeded at that. This is one that I find is really remarkable. His name is Jean-Dominique Baldi, the editor of the French Elle magazine, who had a massive stroke, which left him profoundly debilitated. He famously wrote, it's in the memoir, The Diving Bell and the Butterfly by blinking his left eye to select letters. Isn't it?
Makes my eyelid hurt.
Isn't that incredible? His story highlights an immense inner strength and the triumph of human spirit over invisible, extreme physical and communicative barriers. So that's something. That's just that makes you really wonder. My gosh, how can you do that?
The Diving Bell and the Butterfly is also a movie. Excellent.
Oh, have you read it?
I did not read the book, but I've seen the movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna put that on my movie list.
Yeah.
It's from his perspective. It's like he's narrating the whole thing. It's quite well done. We're acquainted with a gentleman who is has Lou Gehrig's disease, right near here in Illinois, because works for the Illinois Department of Conservation. And I think he's still working. And he is among the longest lasting victims of that disease in the nation. He's an amazing job. I understand quite abusive, but unintentional. It's easy to brand him, but I'm sure the frustration. Because the thing is that Lou Gehrig's disease, people know what they're suffering. It's not like dementia.
Here's another one. This guy is a motivational speaker. And some people might be familiar with him. I've seen YouTubes on him also. His name's Nick, I don't know how to pronounce that, Vizhuzik, born without arms and legs. Vizhuzik has become a motivational speaker and author inspiring millions. His story is an incredible example of finding purpose and success despite profound physical challenges and societal biases. And here's another one, this one is very interesting, Marlon, Madeline. Yeah, Marlon Madeline is an Academy Award winning actress, author, and advocate. Deaf since infancy, she became the first deaf performer to win an Oscar for her role in Children of a Lesser God. Madeline has broken barriers in the entertainment industry and is a prominent advocate for the deaf community and disability rights. She's hired for all sorts of movies and all that, profoundly deaf. So to finish up here, here's some people that I admire simply for their day-to-day courage in achieving invisible success. One is Dory Pani. She's a friend of mine that's involved with the Awakening Project. She's thrust into American culture from Uganda at the age of 5. Dory Pani has faced racism nearly her entire life. She was in her teens when she first developed an eating disorder, anorexia, which brought her weight down to a frightening 70 pounds. Through sheer will and activity, Pani has surmounted her mental illness and today works at a full-time job while managing her invisible challenges. One thing I should say about this is that eating disorders, I'm not sure if people are familiar with it, but they're some of the most dangerous mental illnesses there are, especially anorexia. People start with that.
I spent some time on an ED unit. I had like 14 diagnoses. And so at one point, my eating disorder sent me to the hospital. And some of the people I was in there with were some of the strongest people I've ever met. And I get it from me having one too. It's just, it takes a lot of work and a lot of willpower. And it takes up your whole day and whole life sometimes. And so I think danger is like, we see people get very sick and it's very scary. And so to be able to recover is.
And another thing about eating disorders is they're very difficult to overcome. Extremely difficult to overcome. And she overcame hers. And last time I saw her, she had a good weight. She was 145 pounds. That was a huge success. I mean, I really admire her for what she wanted to do. Another one is a friend, especially a friend of a friend, Nancy Barras. Courage is in facing ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, has garnered her a strong community of supporters who admire her bravery and resilience. Acknowledging the terminal nature of her illness, her determination has inspired a campaign to fund the care needed for her to spend her final days at home rather than in a nursing facility where she currently resides. Kind of a moving story, but people are trying to raise money so she can go home and die at home rather than die in a nursing facility.
Children and I know lives at home.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. He spends his life in this massive wheelchair, but has to be spoon-fed.
Yeah. Apparently, this is a picture of her when she was much less debilitated, but she's.
I think we have to sign off of the Zoom, because they're getting ready for the service, which means, Bob, that your PowerPoint is going to go down with the Zoom.
Oh, okay, well, let me do this real quickly. What I wanted to mention was somebody in this room, Moral Hernandez Castro, born in Mexico. Moral arrived in the United States with his wife and 2 young children over 12 years ago to work on a renowned electronics design and manufacturing company in Illinois. On his journey as an immigrant, he has had to leave behind the rest of his family, roots, and history to start a new life where invisible challenges have been constant. He faces his new chapter with faith and hope that everything has been worth it despite the difficulties. So I like to give our moral.
And he's enriched all of our lives.
Okay, what do I do, Joy?
You don't need to do anything. I just have to have us, leave. I don't know, Laura might have already left, but I don't know.
I am not. I am here.
Okay. So I do believe, right?
So just, yeah, I will just go ahead and sign off of YouTube and tell everybody on YouTube, thank you for watching. And then what I will do is I will actually kick the big screen off,
Okay.
and we will go, and you can, if you want, you can watch what's going on in the church, or you could just sign off on that computer.
Thank you,
Oh, they
Bob.
left me.
Bye.